In this video, we will be discussing the second topic for the second quarter, which is the social relationship in middle and late adulthood. So let us have the overview of our topic. In this chapter, we will expand the relationships of adolescents to a wider group of people, such as schoolmates, school authorities, neighbors, community acquaintances, fellow members of social organizations, strangers they often meet casually in social gatherings, and even the small groupings of friends in school usually referred to as cliques. Ibig sabihin, mas papalawakin lang natin yung intimate and private relationship na inaral natin last time. So let us now define the social relationship. When we say social relationship, it is a broad definition of how we interact and behave with other people and how they interact and behave with us. In social relationships, we learn to cooperate with others in achieving a common objective, and what differentiates personal relationship with social relationship is the degree of intimacy and vulnerability we offer to other people. So, kagaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, palalawakin lang natin si personal relationship. Kung si personal relationship ay nag-focus kay na close friends, kay na best friends, kay romantic relationship, and the family relationship, si social relationship naman ay magfo-focus sa mga taong nakapaligid sa atin and kung paano sila mag-interact and kung paano tayo mag-interact sa kanila. So ano ba ang pinagkaiba ng social relationship at ni personal relationship? Ang pinagkaiba lang nilang dalawa is yung degree of intimacy and vulnerability na na-offer natin sa ibang tao. Mas malalim yung closeness or yung intimacy na meron kay personal relationship and mas komportable tayo sa mga taong na andoon kay personal relationship. So that is the difference between the two, the intimacy and the vulnerability we offer to other people. Under the social relationship, we have the social influence. They are the things that change people's behavior, belief, and attitude as a result of an action of another person or group. When we say influence in Tagalog, ibig sabihin niya ay influensya. So when we say social influence, ayan na yung mga factor na galing sa taong nakapaligid sa inyo na pwedeng makapagbabago ng inyong ugali, ng inyong mga characteristics, attitudes, behavior, and ang inyong paniniwala sa buhay. For example, yung classmates nyo or marami sa classmates nyo ang mahilig mag-aral. Then, syempre, ikaw, dahil almost lahat sa kanila ay nag-aaral na, may influensyahan ka nila na mag-aral din kasi kahit ikaw mismo sa sarili mo, nahihiya kang makita na sila nag-aaral tapos ikaw ay hindi. So that is an example of a good social influence. Another example is halimbawa, yung mga kabarkada mo nag-iinom and then niyaya ka nila, tapos na-influensyahan ka nila na na-influensyahan, that is an example of bad social influence. And according to Herbert Kellman, 1958, isa siyang Harvard psychologist, nag-suggest siya ng three varieties or types of social influence. And the first one is the compliance. It is when a person seems to agree and follows what is requested or required him or her to do or believe in, but does not necessarily have to really believe or to agree to it. When we say compliance, it is an action of complying with a wish or a command. Ibig sabihin, kaya ka lang or kaya nilang ginagawa ang isang bagay or kaya lang sila naniniwala and the-influensyahan is because someone requested him or required him to do it. But this type of social influence is giving you two choices. It's either you agree and believe on it or not. For example, one of your friend requested you to go to your church. Ikaw ay isang Roman Catholic and siya ay IMC. Nagpunta ka dun sa simbahan, sumimba ka, um, but it is not necessary na maniniwala ka sa belief ng mga IMC. So, nag-comply ka lang kasi nga inaya ka niya. So, that is what we call compliance. Your friend just requested you and you just comply. Next, we have the identification. When we say identification, it is when a person is influenced by someone that he or she likes or looks up to, like a movie star, a social celebrity, or a superhero. We have this term in English which is idol. Kapag idol, ang ibig sabihin, di ba, ay hinahangaan. Kaya ka na-influensyahan or kaya naging isa siya sa factor sa changes ng iyong beliefs, attitudes, and behavior kasi nakikita mo siya as a good person or nakikita mo siya as isang magaling na tao. That's why you want to be someone like him or her in the future. For example nga, si ma'am, ayaw ko mag-teacher dati, pero nakilala ko nga yung English teacher ko. Ibig sabihin, nung si ma'am ay fourth year high school, naranasan niya si identification, social influence. May idol akong teacher and as a result, ngayon, naging teacher din si Ma'am Clara. Next, we have the internalization. When we say internalization, it is when a person is able to own a certain belief or act, and it is willing to make it known publicly and privately. When we say internalization, it has something to do within yourself. It means it is your willingness to change your act and belief without being influenced by others. Hindi kagaya ni compliance na kaya ka nag-comply kasi may nag-request sa'yo or nag-record sa'yo na gawin mo yon. Hindi kagaya ni identification na may ina-idolize kang tao kaya ka na-influensyahan. Si internalization, it is just you and yourself alone ang papaniwalaan mo at ang i-influensya sa sarili mo. So those three are the varieties or types of social influence given to us by Herbert Kellman. So we have the compliance, identification, and the internalization. Now, other psychologists discovered and suggested different types of social influence aside from the three that is given to us by Herbert Kellman. And the first one, we have the conformity. When we say conformity, this is a type of social influence that involves a change in behavior, belief, or thinking to be like others to obtain their friendship and acceptance. So, ayan, you are changing your belief, you are changing your behavior or your thinking so that the society will accept you so that you can obtain the friendship that you have. So, di ba, tinanong ko kayo kung maganda ba ito or hindi. Siyempre, at times, maganda siya. For example, isa kang addict, talagang magbabago ka para matanggap ka ng mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo. Pero kadalasan kasi, nagiging siyang bad or si conformity ay tinitake natin as a negative one. Why? Because there are so many people in this world who cannot show their true selves because they are obliged to follow the society's norm. So, yung mga changes na ginagawa ng karamihan sa atin ay para matanggap tayo ng society, para ma-feel natin na tayo ay belong sa society or sa isang circle of friends. So, always remember that if you want to be accepted by others, you must accept yourself first. Mas madali na sa iba ang tanggapin ka kapag tanggap mo na talaga ang sarili mo. Hindi mo na kailangang magbago para sa ibang tao. Kasi nga, tanggap mo na na ikaw yan, mai-improve mo yan in your own way. That is what we call conformity. You are changing your behavior, your belief, or your thinking to be accepted by other people. Next, we have the conversion. When we say conversion, it occurs when an individual wholeheartedly changes his or her original thinking and beliefs, actions, and attitudes to align with and accept those of the other members of a group or of a group. In contrast with conformity, wherein you have to change yourself for others, even if it is against your will or your own will sometimes, conversion means buong pusong pagbabago ng mga pinapaniwalaan mo or pagbabago ng mga kilos mo, ng attitude mo, bunang bukal sa loob mo at hindi ka napipilitan. Diba? Kay conformity, napipilitan ka para matanggap ka rin society. Kay conversion, alam mo sa sarili mo na buo sa loob mo yung pagtanggap ng pagbabago. That is what we call conversion. Next, we have the minority. When we say minority, this influence or the influence happens when a bigger number of people are influenced by a much smaller number of people to accept the minority's way of looking and doing such things. Ibig sabihin, kapag daw yung smaller group or smaller number of people, nagawa nilang baguhin or igaya sa kanila or influensyahan yung bigger group of people, that is what we call minority. For example, we have the teacher to students. Students, madami. There are many situation wherein only one teacher, di ba si teacher isa lang naman yan, can influence many students in many good ways. Naranasan niyo na yun, di ba? Tinanong ko sa inyo kung naranasan niyo na yung meron kayong advisor, kadalasan sa advisor yun nangyayari. Yung advisor niyo, talagang nai-influensyahan niyo kayo na magbago kasi kayo nga mismo sa sarili niyo, sobrang bait ni advisor, nahihiya na kayo sa kanila. And yung kabaitan na yun yung nag-influensya sa inyo para magbago yung halos lahat sa section niyo. Yung dating mga pasaway, naging sweet, hindi na ganun kakulit, hindi na ganun kaingay, that is what we call minority. Kapag yung mas maliit na bilang ng tao, na-influensyahan niya yung mas madami sa kanila. That is how minority works. Next, we have the obedience. When we say obedience, it is another form of social influence that involves someone in a position of authority. When we say someone in a position of authority, ibig sabihin mas mataas or may mas power kesa sa'yo. So, huwag kayong malilito kay obedience, kay conformity, and kay compliance. Kasi nga sa compliance, it also involves changing of behavior kasi nga because someone requested him or her to change. Pero hindi naman specifically sinabi kung sino yung nag-request. And kay conformity naman, it also includes changing of behavior kasi nga gusto niya na siya ay mabilong or ma-accept na mga tao sa paligid niya. Yes, three of them will include change of behavior, but when we say obedience, you are changing your behavior because a figure of authority has told you to do it. Ibig sabihin, there is someone na mas matanda or mas mataas sa'yo ang nagsabi na magbago ka and you have to obey. For example, a father and son relationship, di ba? Si tatay, mas mataas siya kaysa kay anak. That's why si anak, kapag sinabi ni tatay na, oh, you have to change this kasi ganito, ganyan, ganyan. The son needs to obey kasi nga someone in a position of authority ang nagsabi that you have to change. Another example is, pwede example yung teacher to student. Ayan, pwede rin yan. Kasi nga, mas mataas din si teacher kaysa kay student. Lastly, we have the persuasion. When we say persuasion, it is used by one person or group to influence others to change their beliefs, actions, or attitudes by appealing to a reason or emotions. When we say persuade, it means hikayat or himukin. So this influence is used by one person or a group to influence others to change their beliefs, actions, and attitudes in a way na tina-target nila yung emotion or nagbibigay sila ng isang mabigat na reason. Kagaya nga ni Father, kung ikaw ay Roman Catholic, ito lang yung alam ko example kasi sila ay isang Roman Catholic. Kapag nagmamas kami, madalas sinasabi ni Father na, oh, malapit na ang paghukom, darating na si Lord, magbago ka na, ganito, ganyan, talikdan mo na yung mga ganito, talikwaran mo na yung mga ganyan. Kasi si Father, ginamit niya yung persuasion, social influence. Ibig sabihin, si Father, binigay niya sa atin yung strong na reason, which is darating na si Lord para daw tayo ay magbago na. That is what we call persuasion. So those are the 5 varieties of or types of social influence given to us by other psychologists. So, bali, meron tayong 8 types of social influence. Yung tatlo, galing siya kay Herbert Kellman. And they are the compliance, identification, and the internalization. Ito namang 5 ay galing sa iba't ibang psychologists. At ang una ay si conformity. Next, we have the conversion. Then we have the minority. We have the obedience. And lastly, we have the persuasion. Now let us move on to leadership and followership theories. When we say leadership, as inferred from the writing of Chester Barnard, is as the ability of a person in a position of authority, ayan, yung mas may power or may power sa atin, to influence others to behave in such a manner that goals are achieved. Ayan, it is the ability of one person daw to influence others to behave in such manners. So this is very self-explanatory. When we say leader, ibig sabihin may namumuno or namumuno. And when we say follower, ibig sabihin may tagasunod. But always remember that a good leader must be a good follower. Yan. Tinanggal ko na yung mga pictures ng mga leaders. So let us proceed to authentic leadership. When we say authentic leadership, it has 3 characteristics or 3 actions. Ayan. Number 1, leadership is situational. Under yan ni authentic leadership. This is the first characteristic of authentic leadership. This means that a leader's behavior is influenced by the situation, meaning that a leader must be flexible and his behavior must easily adjust in a given situation. Dapat daw kahit gaano kadaming role ang gampanan ng isang leader, kahit gaano kadami pang sitwasyon ang magpabago-bago, hindi dapat nawawala sa isang authentic leader ang kanyang direction. Dapat alam niya pa rin yung goals na gusto niyang ma-achieve. Pero, ang kanyang leadership ay mai-influensyahan or magbabago with the given situation. Kaya dapat ang isa daw authentic leader ay flexible at mabilis mag-adapt at mag-adjust sa binigay na sitwasyon. Next, leadership is non-hierarchical. When we say leadership is non-hierarchical, the exercise of leadership is not based on one's position in an organizational chart alone, but also dependent on other factors such as characteristics, skills, and even connection. So in a group of leaders, for example, is an student organization. Again, in college, we call this a central student government. And in high school, you call this as SSG or Supreme Student Government. Now, if you are a treasurer or your position is much lower than the others, it doesn't mean na hindi mo kayang mag-lead. So, si leadership, it shouldn't be defined by your position in an organization. If you are an authentic leader, your skills, your characteristics, and even your connections must be considered. If he or she is in a higher position than yours, then both of you can lead. Besides, parehas naman kayong student leader. Nagkataon lang na mas mataas ang kanyang posisyon. So, dapat pantay-pantay lang. Pakinggan ang opinion ng bawat isa dahil lahat naman ay may kakayanang mag-lead. So, that's why leadership is non-hierarchical. Hindi ka dapat bumabase sa taas or baba ng posisyon mo sa isang organization bago ka matawag na isang leader or bago sabihin ng ibang tao na may kakayahan kang mag-lead. Basta ikaw ay may skills, maganda ang characteristics mo, and even the connection, you can lead. You can be a leader. Next, we have this leadership is relational. When we see leadership is relational, leaders have followers and both establish relationships where their interests are mutually met. Every leaders must have a follower, of course. Hindi ka matatawag na leader kung walang sumusunod sa'yo. And both of you must establish a good relationship kung saan mamimit nila parehas ang kanilang interest and desired goals. 'Di ba? Kaya nga nagkakagulo sa Pilipinas kasi nga hindi sila nakapag-establish ng yung ating mga leaders and tayo mga followers ng leaders na yon, hindi tayo nakapag-establish ng isang stable and good relationship kasi hindi natin nami-meet yung ating interest. Ano ba yung interest ng isang leader? Of course, mapaunlad ang ating bansang Pilipinas. And we as a fellow Filipino or Filipino, ang gusto lang din naman natin ay mapaunlad natin ang ating bansang Pilipinas. Pero kaya nga tayo nagre-reklamuhan kasi hindi natin nami-meet yun dahil wala nga tayong stable and good relationship. Pero sa lahat ng relationship, dapat parehas tayong nagpa-function. Kahit pa yan sa romantic, sa friends, sa family, or dito sa leaders and followers, dapat parehas nagpa-function. Parehas dapat kayong gumagalaw para nag-work ang inyong relationship. Yes, meron pong malaking function ng isang leader para sa ating mga follower, para sa kanilang mga follower. Pero tayo bilang followers, dapat meron din tayong ginagampanan ay tuntunin. So, kagaya ng example ko sa inyo, nagpunta nga ako sa malamig, and then ang dami dong hindi naka-face mask, ang daming baby, gabing-gabi na, parang walang COVID, parang hindi sila natatakot sa COVID. Pero kapag hindi naubos yung COVID sa Pilipinas, automatic ang sinisisi nila ay yung gobyerno. So, hindi dapat ganun. Kung alam mo rin naman sa sarili mo na nagkulang ka, dapat gawin mo na lang yung part mo na punad yun. Dapat hindi ka lumalabas ng wala kang face mask. Dapat hindi ka na nagsasama ng baby kapag lalabas ka or ng bata. Gawin mo rin yung role mo as a follower para makapag-establish na tayo ng isang good and stable relationship and ma-meet na natin yung ating mutual interest. So those are the three characteristics of an authentic leadership. The first one is leadership is the leadership is wait, I forgot. Leadership is situational. Then we have leadership is non-hierarchical. And then lastly, leadership is relational. The next theory that we have, no, I'm sorry. An authentic leader has the following critical elements present. Ayan, yung critical elements na yan daw ay dapat present sa isang authentic leader. Number one, they walk their talk. They are consistent in what they say and what they do, practicing what they are preaching. Ibig sabihin, dapat hindi puro pangako lang. Kung ano yung sinabi nila during the election, dapat gagawin nila yon kapag sila ay nahalal na. Practice what they preach, walk your talk, gawin mo kung anong sinabi mo, gawin mo kung ano ang ipinangako mo. Kung consistent ka, dapat consistent ka from the day of the election or from the day one of the election hanggang sa matapos ang iyong posisyon or hanggang sa ikaw ay nahalal na. Dapat you are consistent. Gawin mo kung ano ang pinangako mo at hindi ka dapat puro salita lamang. Next, they adjust to situations and display adaptability and flexibility. Both are consistent with their values and real selves even when they take on different roles during different situations. Sabi ko nga, an authentic leader must be flexible. Mabilis dapat mag-adapt and mag-adjust sa mga situation. Pero kahit pabago-bago ang sitwasyon, dapat mananatili silang mabuti at totoo sa kanilang sarili. Dapat malinaw pa rin yung kanilang vision kahit anong pagbabago or pag-a-adjust ang gawin nila. So, an authentic leader must easily adjust and adapt in different situations. Next, they have a high level of comfort being themselves, even if they come from backgrounds that are different from people or situations that they deal with. So they should be comfortable with those who or with who they really are, even if this leader came from different backgrounds from the people that they are going to deal with. Halimbawa, yung mga taong they are going to deal with is galing sa hirap, tapos ikaw galing sa yaman, o kaya naman parang kayong galing sa hirap. So they should learn how to be comfortable with others and of course with yourselves. Dapat kayo ay komportable lang sa sarili nyo. Dapat alam nyo lang kung ano yung goal nyo, ano ba yung pinunta nyo dun sa lugar na yon, ano ba yung gusto nyo gawin dun sa mga taong yun. Komportable lang kayo sa inyong sarili para magawa nyo ng maayos yung inyong gustong gawin. So again, ayun yung 3% or 3 critical elements na dapat daw present sa isang authentic leader. Unang-una, hindi dapat puro salita lang. Pangalawa, dapat marunong siya mag-adjust and mag-adapt sa different situations, ideas, and roles. And lastly, dapat meron silang mataas na level of comfort kung saan komportable lang dapat sila sa sarili nila kahit pa sino ang kaharap nila para mas madali nilang ma-achieve yung goal na gusto nilang ma-achieve. Yan, ito na talaga. The next theory is about the heroic leadership. So this type of leadership follows four principles that are integrated with one another. And the first one is the self-awareness. When we say self-awareness, we have emphasized the importance of self-awareness. This type of leadership considers self-awareness as very important to being a leader. O bakit ba mahalaga si self-awareness? Kasi nga, kung kilala mo na ang sarili mo, kung alam mo na and aware ka na sa mga ginagawa mo, mas magiging komportable ka na sa self mo, mas madali mo nang magagawa yung mga bagay na gusto mong gawin, mas madali mo nang ma-achieve yung goal na gusto mong ma-achieve, di ba? Kapag aware ka na kung ano bang, di ba, during the discussion of adolescence, na-discuss natin si self-awareness. Kasi nga, meron tayong mga behavior, may mga attitude tayo na hindi tayo aware, may mga kilos tayo na hindi tayo aware na nakakasakit na pala sa ibang tao kasi nga wala tayong self-awareness. Kaya mahalaga si self-awareness sa isang leadership or kay heroic leadership kasi para alam mo yung ginagawa mo, para alam mo yung behavior mo, para alam mo yung ipapakita mong attitudes, yung i-act out mo na behavior, para magiging komportable ka na nung achieve yung goals mo or yung vision mo sa pagiging isang leader. Next, we have the ingenuity. When we see ingenuity, a leader of this type is not stuck in his comfort zone because the world is constantly changing. Flexibility and openness to new ideas are the hallmark of this kind of leadership. A leader must not be stuck in his comfort zone dahil lahat naman daw talaga ay nagbabago. Again, a great leader must be flexible enough to adjust and adapt to any ideas and any situation. Kagaya lang ng authentic leader, dapat marunong ka talagang mag-adjust sa isang bagong sitwasyon, sa bagong idea na ibibigay sa iyo, sa bagong role na dapat mong gampanan. So if you are heroic or a great or an authentic leader, dapat ikaw ay hindi nasa kay comfort zone dahil lahat ay nagbabago. Next, we have love. A healthy self-concept generates a healthy and positive attitude when dealing with other people. After all, you cannot love or respect another person unless you love and respect yourself first. You cannot share what you do not have. And effective leaders show their love and respect for their followers. Siyempre naman, ng isang effective leader, sinashow talaga nila yung pagmamahal at respeto nila sa kanilang mga followers. But you cannot share what you do not have. Hindi mo daw maiibigay kung ano yung wala sa sarili mo. Hindi mo yun maiibigay sa ibang tao. That's why you have to love, you have to respect yourself first bago ka maging isang effective na leader. Mahalin mo muna, irespeto mo muna ang sarili mo kasi yung love and respect na yon, kung wala ka nun sa sarili mo, hindi mo yon maiibigay sa ibang tao. So love, respect, and a healthy self-concept is very important to be an effective leader. Next, we have the heroism itself. This type of leadership is about motivating and inspiring other people to reach for higher goals, for bigger and greater things. Ayan. So, si heroism naman daw, isa siyang type of leadership na nagmo-motivate and nag-i-inspire sa ibang tao. 'Di ba? Kay authentic leader, sila yung mga kadalasan lang nating nakakasalamuhang leader. Yung mga madalas nakakilala na nating leader, sila yung tinatawag nating authentic leader. Kay heroic leadership or yung mga heroic leaders, sila yung mga inspiring na leaders, yung mga nakaka-motivate, gaya ni Miriam Defensor, di ba? Isa siyang type ng leader na talaga namang imo-motivate ka and i-inspire bilang isang Filipino. So that is what we call heroism. So those are the four characteristics of a heroic leadership. Number one, we have the self-awareness. Dapat aware ka sa sarili mo. Next, we have the ingenuity. Dapat marunong kang mag-adjust. Hindi ka dapat na-stuck sa comfort zone mo dahil nga there is or the only constant in this world is change. Next, we have love, a healthy self-concept, love and respect ang kailangan mo sa sarili mo bago mo yun maibigay sa ibang tao. And then lastly, we have the heroism itself or yung pagmamotivate and pag-inspire sa ibang tao para ma-achieve nila yung kanilang or para mag-aim sila ng mas mataas na goals para sa or mas mataas na goals, mas malaki and sa mga greater things. The next theory is the leader-member exchange or the LMX. We have this theory states that leaders' effectiveness is measured by the quality of their relationship with their followers and that different types of relationships can evolve between leader and follower in a certain work situation. Yung pagiging effective daw ng isang leader ay nasusukat sa quality ng relationship na meron siya with his follower. Well, yes, kasi in any situation, napapatunayan natin na effective ang isang leader kapag kusang loob na sumusunod ang kanyang mga followers. So, wag na tayong lumayo. We have these leaders in a classroom, di ba? Meron tayong mga class officers sa classroom. Merong type ng president na talaga namang sigaw na ng sigaw pero hindi pa rin sumusunod ang kanyang mga followers o yung kanyang co-classmates. Kasi nga, hindi pa siya ganun ka-effective na leader. Puro lang siya sigaw, puro lang siya, wah, 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 yan, ganun lang siya ng ganyan. And sino ba namang gaganahan kapag ka ganun ang leader mo, di ba? So, dapat bilang isang leader, matalino ka dapat na mag-adjust. Ayan, matalino ka dapat, alamin mo, kilalanin mo yung mga followers mo para alam mo kung ano yung ipapakita mo sa kanila. So, meron din namang type ng leader sa isang classroom na kapag tiningnan mo lang, susunod ka na agad. So, ayan yung mga effective na leader. And itong LMX, sinasabi ng theory na to, na yun daw effectiveness ng isang leader ay nami-measure sa relationship na meron ang leader and follower. Kung maganda ang kanilang relationship, mabilis na papasunod ni leader si follower, well then, meron silang magandang relationship and effective si leader sa kanyang mga follower. So, yun ang ini-state ni LMX or Leader Member Exchange. Lastly, we have the why, wow, how, and what leadership. When we say why, how, what leadership, meron tayong tatlong types of leadership. We have the why type of leadership, who is usually the visionary, the one who believes that results can be achieved. Sila yung malalawak ang imagination, siya yung type ng leader na palaging naniniwala na kahit anong mangyari, ma-achieve niya yung kanyang desired na goal. Ayan, malawak ang kanyang imagination, palagi niyang nakikita na maa-achieve niya yung kanyang gustong ma-achieve kahit paanong unos ang dumating, kahit paanong situation or role ang gampanan niya, kaya niya yung i-achieve. Ayan yung Y type of leadership. Si how type of leader naman, sila yung mga realist who is able to see how to work out a vision. Sila naman yung mga leader na hinahanap kung ano yung current na situation or hinaharap yung current na situation. Ang palagi niya nakikita is kung paano niya naman i-work out ang kanyang mga desired goals. Kung si Y-type, ang nakikita niya agad is yung result, si how type naman, ang nakikita niya ay kung paano niya daw i-work out yung vision niya para ma-achieve niya yung result na yon. Lastly, si what type of leader naman is the builder who provides the details on how to get things done. Siya naman yung type na leader na pinoprovide naman yung needs para ma-achieve ang kanyang desired goals. Ayan, para sa akin, pinakamagandang leadership ay si, or leader, ay si what type of leader. Kasi siya yung nagpo-provide ng details, siya yung nagpo-provide ng needs, hindi basta results yung nakikita niya, hindi basta kung paano, agad dumedirekta siya kung paano niya or kung ano-ano yung mga kailangan para ma-achieve niya yung kanyang desired goals. Pero syempre, si why, how, what leadership, maganda yan kapag nasa iisang tao, kapag nasa iisang leader. Kasi kung isa kang great leader, dapat talaga you always have a goal in mind or an end in mind. Dapat alam mo na agad yung goal mo at naniniwala ka na kaya mo yung ma-achieve. And dapat alam mo rin and meron ka ding plano, kagaya ni how type of leader, kung paano mo yun ma-achieve. And of course, the what type of leader, kailangan syempre ma-provide mo yung needs and details para ma-achieve mo yung iyong goal. So that is the end of social relationship. This is included in your monthly exam. I hope that this will help. And I'm sorry kung medyo bulol-bulol ako and talagang nagpapatigil-tigil kasi nga ang hirap na-awkwardan ako kapag walang kausap. So that's it. Thank you for listening and I hope this will help you in your second monthly examination. Good luck and God bless you. Jesus loves you.